Good morning. Welcome to Connect Church. We're excited that you're with us today. I have my 7th grade homeroom in here with me today. Y'all tell everybody hi out there. All right. Good job. All right. Today's lesson, we're going to talk about beauty and briars. Life with thorns. We're celebrating, starting off our new chapter on plants. And there's wonderful beauty. Nature has all kinds of things. And as we subdue and have dominion over the physical world, our nature, as we call it, we're excited to see things like roses and their beauty and trees and the water and the clouds, all the things in nature that are awesome, okay? And so when we begin to look at this and think about some of this stuff, man, we are so excited that God doesn't just have a physical lesson, but He has a spiritual lesson for us as well, whether it's in the mountains, whether it's in the animals. The physical world is nature. But you know what? If you were to bring nature into your house and have a pet or have a plant, then it goes from nature to nurture. And that's what we need to do with our spiritual life. And sometimes, we think, people say, well, I can worship the Lord in the outdoors. But let me tell you something. Whatever you do, you need to nurture your relationship with the Lord. And so today we're going to notice the rose. As you can see, this little cartoon rose right up here. You can see we're going to notice some things about it. Its beauty. We're going to notice some practical things about it. But when we begin to look, let's look in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, 7 through 10. Paul, when you begin to think of this, Paul's life, we're going to notice some things in the physical world that will help Paul's life spiritually. Look at verse 7. Because of the surpassing greatness of the revelation, Paul got to see something. We don't know what it is. He got to experience something with God. And because of this, he says, to keep me from exalting myself in verse 7, there was given me a thorn in the flesh, a messenger of Satan to torment me. A messenger of Satan to torment me. Why? Again, to keep me from exalting myself. So here, can you imagine now why Paul has a thorn? To keep him from exalting himself. Do we live in a culture that exalts itself? I'm the best. I'm faster than you. I'm smarter than you. I'm more handsome than you. I mean, man, that's my problem right there. I'm just too handsome,
Then you have a 39-year-old
Oh, I forgot I was live with y'all. Y'all tell the truth, so I can't do that.
You have a 39-year-old wife, so
that's right.
You can't say that much.
Don't say that on TV now. All right, so here we go. Now, the fact is, beauty is a part of life. But guess what comes with beauty? Briars, thorns. You say, all we want is good stuff. But you know what? To go through good stuff, you have to have what?
Bad stuff.
Bad stuff's going to happen. It's part of it. About this, it says in verse 8, I implored the Lord 3 times, or 3 sections of time, that it might leave me. And God said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for power is perfected in weakness. Wow. When are we the strongest? When we are the weakest. Man, we live in a society. I'm stronger than you. I'm more powerful than you. You're just showing your weakness. Because when we are weak, who do we rely on? God. And if you're not relying on God, you're just a puny little stick waiting to get broken. That's what he's saying. You're weak. You've got cracks already in you. It's going to tear your life apart and things in that. So most gladly there, I would rather boast, I'd rather brag about my weakness. I'm slower than y'all. Yeah. I'm not as smart as you, Johnny. I am not smart as you. Man, I am worse at basketball than Eli. I am worse at softball than Suzanne. I'm worse at hunting than Jace. I'm worse at football than Tristan. Say, but do you hear people talk about like that? What are they usually doing? What? Say that again. I'm better than you. I mean, that's the way it usually is. But let me tell you, even if we are the best, who gave us the power to be the best? Yes, and so look right here, this last verse in verse 10. Therefore, I am well content with weakness. Are we content with weakness?
Yes.
No, we're not.
Oh, my bad.
I'm ugly. I'm no good. I've got no friends. Man, I can't run like so-and-so. I can't throw like so-and-so. I can't pass like so-and-so. I can't catch like
I
so-and-so.
always hear that.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Who cares? What's good's all that when you get old like me and you can't do any of it? Man, it doesn't matter how good you used to be. You know why? Because the older you get, the bigger the fish gets and the better you were.
Ha!
People start kind of exaggerating.
Ha!
Well, back when I was a boy, I'll tell you what. Man, I used a baseball bat out of a pine tree or something like that, you know. So anyway, so here we go, and I want you to notice these, and then we'll be through for today. Because the physical world can help us in the spiritual world. Now, what's the first thing anybody notice about a rose? The pretty petals. They come at all. That's not the first thing you notice, unless you grab it blind or something. You know, the first thing you notice is that it is pretty. They come in all kinds of different colors. They are pretty petals. The colors, red and salmon, all kinds of different color roses. They have the green leaves, and all this stands out. But not just the pretty petals, but they have pure perfume. Man, the sweet smell. Isn't that awesome? Man, then you notice the practical power. That is the stem. It's not as flashy as the beautiful part, but what you have is something that it can't live without. When it is growing, if it didn't have the stem to protect it, to get it up off the ground, to point it toward the sun, it would die. So there's practical. Sometimes we like flashy, but sometimes just practically living for God helps us in all of this. And then the last part, and some of you already said it, thorns. Why are thorns on this beautiful rose? Protection from predators. So when you start thinking about a physical thing, let's try to find a spiritual lesson in it. Let's look at the rose. You see the pretty petals. You smell the pure perfume. You see the practical power in its protection with a stem and the bracts that protects it before it even blooms there. And so you see the protection from predators. Man, can you imagine, as good as it smells, animals would be eating that stuff up if it didn't have briars. So, when the stem represents the strength to support the rose while it's growing, the thorn represents a symbol of protection. Let me tell you, God loves you, okay? And you are all beautiful roses. Maybe you just can't see what other people see and what God sees. Yes, there are some thorns, because there's going to be beauty and briars in everyone's life, okay? And all of us have a life with thorns. God bless you, and thank you for listening this morning.